Hi you guys, and welcome back to another one of my videos. If you're new here, my name is Holly and thank you so much for watching. Today I wanted to do something a little bit different. I wanted to talk a little bit about Britney and what is going on recently with her. She's all over the news, and so I just sort of wanted to chime in because I had a few things that I wanted to say. So as we know, Britney Spears is going through her conservatorship as we speak, and the information that is coming out is kind of crazy. But let's backtrack a little bit. I want to get you guys that don't know what's going on up to speed. So this all started back in 2008, this conservatorship. A lot of people back in 2008, especially Britney Spears' father, who's called Jamie Spears, were pretty concerned over her mental health. She was constantly in the news for different things, and a lot of people were talking about her and not so much in a positive light. Basically in 2008 it was reported that Britney had a mental breakdown. It was never really disclosed what mental health issues that she was dealing with, which is completely understandable, but I think this was basically the main reason that the conservatorship went through. I don't know if you guys remember Britney Spears shaving her head, but that was also in 2008. I feel like she was going through a lot of stress. She was getting a divorce from her husband, whose name was Kevin Federline, I believe. And she had 2 kids with him, and they were really young at the time. They were actually 1 and 2 years old. Kevin actually got full custody of the 2 boys, and on one occasion Britney was minding them. I don't know if she was minding both of them or just one, but she refused to give them back, and of course this was blasted all over the news, and it didn't really look too good for her at the time. She was also dealing with a hit and run charge. She, from my understanding, hit a parked car in a studio car park, but she also didn't have a driver's license at the time, so yeah, she was facing some charges for that. But I just want to say, at the time the paparazzi were also crazy. They would follow her every move, no matter what she did. The paps were there. I was watching a few videos of paps around her in 2008, and it is literally crazy. Like, the rules in 2008 were that you could still stand in front of a celebrity's car, you could stand in their way. Like, there were so many times where she was trying to like drive off or whatever, and she literally couldn't because people were like banging on the front of her car and like banging on her window and stuff. And as a side note, thankfully in 2010 the laws around paparazzis changed, and these law changes were mainly because of how Britney was treated back in 2008. These new rules included harsher penalties for paps found breaking road rules in the aim of getting a good shot, and harsher charges for paps that were found to be interfering with a celebrity's car or the operation of a celebrity's car in pursuit of a photo. And so all of this combined meant that Britney's father, Jamie Spears, got a probate conservatorship for Britney. An important bit of information here is that by law, a conservatee, and in this case the conservatee was going to be Britney, needs to be notified that someone is trying to start a conservatorship 5 days before it goes to court, basically so that they can lawyer up and properly defend herself. But Britney's dad made it so that it seemed like she was unfit to get herself a lawyer, and he got this law waived. So Britney had no idea that this was coming, and so she had no chance to defend herself. So some of you guys might be wondering, what is a conservatorship? Under US law, a conservatorship is the appointment of a guardian or protector by a judge to manage the financial affairs and/or daily life of another person due to old age or physical or mental limitations. A person under a conservatorship is a conservatee, a term that can refer to an adult. So basically, Britney's dad and a couple of other people that were on his team had full control of her $40 million estate, her finances, what medication she was on, where she went, who she went with. He could control her mail, he controlled who cared for her kids, etc. You guys, the list of things that he had control over in her life goes on and on and on. Her dad could choose whoever he wanted to be her therapist, her doctor, her lawyer. And this is a huge problem in my opinion, because the thing is, right, if Britney wanted to lawyer up to have someone represent herself to get out of the conservatorship, she would be getting a lawyer that her dad had chosen for her. So how in the world is she meant to get someone that is going to have her best interests at heart if the person who wants her to stay in this conservatorship is the one that gets to choose which lawyer she gets? So for the next 12 years, Britney continued to create many different albums, including Circus, which was my fave. That song back in the day, like the actual song Circus, was my jam. Like, oh my gosh, I just remember in year 7 I'd be like, all eyes on me in the center of the ring just like a circus. She also created Femme Fatale, Britney Jean, and Glory. She also continued to perform, and can I just say, Britney's performances are absolutely phenomenal. The amount of effort that she puts into her performances is like next level. I would actually love to go see Britney live one day if COVID ever ends. And she also did a stint on The X Factor. She tried to end the conservatorship many times throughout those years as well, but her doctor and father would just come back at this every time, saying that they had assessed her and didn't believe that she was mentally competent. So she never really had a chance. And the general public did know about the conservatorship, but no one really talked about it that much until 2019. Because in 2019, the Free Britney movement started. Or to be honest, it really started in 2017 when two Britney fans decided to start a podcast where they talked about her conservatorship and just basically analysed it. The two people that started that podcast go by the name Barker and Gray, and they just thought it was a little bit fishy that it had been like, what, by then it would have been 9 years that she was in this conservatorship, and things just weren't adding up. And on their podcast, an anonymous lawyer actually called in to say that they were onto something, and I don't know how, but somehow they managed to work out that he was legit, like he was a legit source that actually had inside information. And basically from that, the Free Britney movement just took off. So let's fast forward to this week, and this week is when the conservatorship trial has been taking place, and some audio from Britney speaking at the trial has been leaked, which is what I want to talk about. I actually feel so excited to be talking about this, because listening to Britney speak just made me, I don't know how to explain it. I just feel like she is such a powerful woman. The fact that this audio is even out in the world is such a huge step forwards for Britney, because through hearing her speak, it has become apparent the abuse, in my opinion, that she has gone through for years and years. She sounded so scared to talk, which is totally understandable. I mean, she's been silenced for like, what, 13 years now? But I'm so proud of her, and I really hope this is the start to some good change. Basically, the aim of the trial for her was that she wanted the conservatorship to be ended without her being medically assessed to see if she's medically competent, because that's the issue with every other time, because her dad and the doctors had control of deciding whether she was medically competent or not. Every single time she tried to oppose it, they would just say that she wasn't. So this time she's saying, no, I want none of that. Like, she was saying that she's done so many hours and hours of like analysis, and she's just over it. She also talked about how she was forced to do shows when she didn't feel like she was ready to and she didn't want to, and her father and management would use scare tactics to force her to do things that she didn't want to do. For example, her management tried to claim that she was refusing to take medication, which she says is not the case at all. And they would do this to make her look bad, to make her look like she wasn't competent. She said they would also change her meds. They would put her on super strong meds if she didn't agree to do what they wanted her to do. And on top of this, they would send her to rehab without her consent too. Like, she had no choice in anything, you guys. She was saying in the trial that she didn't even know she could petition the conservatorship. And I just thought that was so sad. I mean, it's pretty apparent that her dad obviously wanted her to stay in this, so he wasn't going to be educating her on how to get out of it. But can you just imagine that? She was just completely kept in the dark for years. She was saying that she really wants to sue her family, and I really hope she does. I personally believe her father is a monster. Imagine purposely taking away your child's free will. I mean, she isn't even a child, she is a grown-ass adult. But imagine completely taking away their freedom and causing them depression just so you can have control of their money. How twisted do you have to be to completely disregard your child's needs just so you can gain from it? I can't ever imagine doing that to a child of mine. She said that recently her team had said to her that if she didn't go to the therapy that they had organized for her, she wouldn't be allowed to have money, her own money, that she wanted to use to go on a holiday to Maui. She says she also just wants to see her friends. She has friends that live 8 minutes down the road from her, but at this point in time, she is not allowed to go and see them without it being approved. She says she also wants to get married and have a baby, which is something that she isn't allowed to do at the moment. I mean, this woman has an IUD put in her arm, which is a form of like prevention for getting pregnant. She had that put in her arm without her consent just because her team didn't think that she was capable of having a baby or looking after a child. I'm pretty sure she's capable of making her own decisions. You guys, this basically brings me to the end of the video, but I just wanted to say my piece. I honestly think that by us all talking about this and getting the information out there and keeping it relevant, it will help to get this conservatorship ended. I mean, I feel like the power of social media is just so strong, and so I felt like using my platform, although very, very small, I felt like using my platform to get this out there and help the movement get some traction. I would love for you guys to comment below if you have any thoughts or opinions on the whole matter. I would really, really appreciate that. Hopefully sometime soon will be the end of the conservatorship for Britney. But you guys, thank you so much for watching this video, and I really, really hope that I will see you in my next one too. And yeah, that's basically everything I have to say. Bye, you guys.